Andy, first and foremost, tell us what's happened here today in relation to the supporters board and the significance of it.
Well, it is a really big moment. We are signing legal agreements which has formally established the Liverpool supporters board, which gives us a framework for the long term for our interaction with fans at all levels. So it's a big step forward for the club and for the fans.
And a lot of clubs have fan involvement to different degrees. What makes this different?
Well, we've embedded this process that I've described into legal documentation with an agreement with the Supporters Trust, but we've also gone a step further and we want to enshrine this within the Articles of Association of the club. So we're trying to establish some long-term legal permanence to this process, which I think is to the benefit of everyone.
How important is it that supporters have a voice in the future of the football club?
Well, I think we all know it's critically important. You know, there's a lot going on at the club. There's a lot of strategic challenges in football in general, and the fans play a key part in that. And I think we went into this process with a view of we can be stronger together. And I think giving the fans an opportunity to contribute at the right moment and be part of that decision making hopefully makes the club a stronger organisation.
Okay, then what more can you tell us then about the role of the supporters board moving forward?
Yeah, so the supporters board, I think the key point is we wanted interaction at the right levels, so that goes from top to bottom. So the fan forums that did exist will continue and be focused on the right issues, but there will also be interaction on a regular basis with the executive committee at the club through the supporters board, but also the chair and vice chair of the supporters board will have an opportunity to meet with the main board of the club once a year. So we've got from strategic at the top right the way down to tactical. There's an appropriate level of interaction on the right issues.
From your point of view, what are the next steps for the supporters board then?
Well, the supporters board has already selected their chair, Joe Blott, and need to select the vice chair. And then we need to start the process that we've outlined. It will begin with some familiarisation meetings, but yeah, we're all looking forward to working together and hopefully establishing a successful process for the club.
Joe, how significant is the supporters board then from a fan's perspective?
It's a huge step forward. I think it's important to point out that we've always had good engagement with the football club, but I think what we have now is a long-term strategy for making sure that we have both a legacy of the work that we do, but also more importantly, I think the opportunity to speak at board level, which is something that we've been striving to achieve for many years, and this is an absolutely welcome opportunity, but it is a huge step change, and you know, I think it's really good news for the football club and Liverpool football fans. What
do you hope it can achieve then for the future of the club?
I think it's about the stability going forward. I think, you know, clearly when I speak to many other fan groups of other clubs, they tend to speak a lot on a day-to-day basis, but not about the long-term strategy of their club. This gives us that opportunity so that we can be aligned with where the football club is going, think about a 3-year plan, work through financial issues and think where the club is going to go. And that means that we can adjust our necessary strategy as well and work with fans, and rather than be the problem, actually be the solution for the football club.
What will your role be then as chair of the supporters board?
Massive. It's a real honour and a privilege to have been elected chair of the supporters board. I guess, you know, the most important thing, you know, I believe that this gives us an opportunity to really draw together a lot of disparate fan groups. So we'll have a lot of inclusion in this now, which makes it a real collective. I think secondly, I mean, the most important thing is to ensure I provide the right level of leadership, support and advice to the supporters board really, and give confidence not only to the fans, but also give confidence to the football club that the investment that they're putting into the supporters board, you know, would really reap dividends for both parties really.
The club's always working really hard to try and improve its relationship with supporters. Do you see the supporters board as more evidence of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, clearly we've had some issues in the past where we've kind of had to challenge, and rightly so, on behalf of fans. The reality is, though, that the vast majority of our engagement is positive, and this gives us just another stepping stone to make sure that positive nature is there. And I think, as we've outlined before, that this being part of a contractual arrangement, being part of a memorandum and articles of association, really puts, I think, a long legacy in this. So it's not about the generation who are following Liverpool now, it's for future generations as well. And I think that's what's magnificent in this, is that it takes forward and doesn't look backward.
Do you think other football clubs will follow what has happened here today?
Yeah, I'm convinced they will. Clearly, as part of the fan-led review, you know, Tracy Crouch, the minister, took great interest in what we were doing at the club, and it was really important that we led that. And I think that's part of what's really striking about this, is the leadership role that we've collectively played between the club and the fans, to not wait for something and be told about how to do something. We've actually taken the challenge on. I think there are levels as well, and I think there's nothing that can't be achieved in this kind of arrangement, this kind of contractual management. Whether you're at the bottom of the pyramid or you're at the top, you know, if we can strike this deal with a multi-billion-pound organisation, you know, I'm really confident that another football club with more local fan bases, etc., can do the same. So yeah, I think this is an historic day, not only for Liverpool Football Club, but for the football world in general.